another big aspect of your work and your specialization is gut health, Avanti. So we
Yes,
hear so much about prebiotics, probiotics, and there's like so much of information being, sent our ways. Um, and it's also maybe newer science. So if you could talk a bit about, how can I have a healthy gut? What is a healthy gut? What
mm,
does that mean? And also, interestingly, when we were exchanging notes, you also said to me how hormones and gut are so closely related. So if
yes,
you could talk about
yes,
that as well,
yes,
and again, so somehow it's intertwined with age as well, because of course, post menopause, pre-menopause, all this sort of thing.
yes,
But yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So gut health is basically we refer. So gut is your entire digestive system, okay? And when we refer to gut health, we refer to the microorganisms which are majorly present in your large intestine. That is what we talk about gut health, majorly. And now, as I was just mentioning a few seconds back, gut health is like the millions and trillions of bacteria which are present, microorganisms, not only bacteria, but majorly bacteria, which are present in your large intestine. And our work should be to improve the number of good bacteria and decrease the number of bad bacteria. The reason being, the good bacteria have got a lot of roles to play in the body. First, I was telling you it has the capability of producing certain neurotransmitters. That is a major role. That is the gut brain axis. Okay. Then it helps in your immunity. So they have a capacity to manufacture certain nutrients. Okay. They of course improve your immunity. They help in the digestion of certain foods. Uh, these are all the functions, and they also play a role in reducing the obesity and also hormonal balance. Okay,
So
so
they are
this is
actually
what the
creating
gut bacteria
nutrients.
do. They do create certain
Oh,
nutrients. So, you
wow.
know, the
Okay.
B12, that is, we say, like, let's take sources of B12. If I'm not a non-vegetarian, I don't get B12. No, you can make it in your body.
Wow.
Now, there are various ways in which you can improve the gut microbiota. Okay. First way is by directly taking the lactobacilli, which comes from the natural sources, that is the buttermilk, which is the most natural source which we are getting through our diet. Okay. But having said that, we recommend that you generally set the curd at home. Now, if it gets difficult to set the curd at home, then the second option would be having certain ingredients. Like, so there are certain fermented vegetables like kimchi, sauerkraut, kombucha, okay, which are having these lactobacilli and different strains of lactobacilli. Apart from that, you also have kefir milk,
Mm.
okay, which is also having lactobacilli present in it. And then apart from these sources, then you will have, the supplements which are available in the market. But I would always say rely on the natural sources and then rely on the supplements, because the
Mm.
supplements not necessarily will give you the effect as the natural foods.
Mm.
Okay.
Sorry to interject, Avanti, and you do carry on after that. But is it enough to have just one of these? Because all these kombucha and kimchi are such new things. They can be foreign language to you. So just sticking to your yogurt, homemade curds, is that enough?
Sorry. So you were asking, is it enough to just have one probiotic?
Yeah, what you're used
Yeah.
to at home.
Yes, yes, of course. So best source will be like, having buttermilk. But as I was just saying, like it's always better to make the buttermilk at home rather than
Right.
buying it from, the store-bought one. So if
Yeah.
that is not a possibility, then you move on to, having kimchi and kombucha and all these things.
But
Now,
but
having
then
said
even
that,
that you need to make them at home, don't you? Even
no,
the
no, no,
kimchi
no.
and
That can be
oh,
store-bought. That can be store-bought.
oh,
That is
oh,
that you
I
need not
see.
make at home. Yeah, yeah,
Ah, okay.
that can be store bought. Because the thing is, like, they have see the curd which is there now, which is pasteurized and etc. So
Yeah,
probably the effect won't be as good as the way which you make it at home,
right.
right? But these other things, no, they are like, and the good suppliers, or the good vendors will be always having the best way or the best strains that are available. So having said that, also these kombucha, kimchi, and all need not be taken as in larger quantities, like how you will take a sabzi.
Mm,
It has to be taken in very minute quantities, probably just taking it like a pickle on the side. That is
yeah,
very
yeah,
important. Okay, like how you consume a
right,
pickle, it's exactly to be consumed like that. Nothing more than
right.
that. Even if you
Right.
consider something like a beetroot kanji, it should be only 50 ml at a time. It is so
Mm.
strong in the strains of microbiota that you need not consume so much at a time. So, but that is a good question you brought up, because a lot of people they're consuming multiple things at one time, considering that the probiotics are healthy. Not necessary. If you're not able to make a lifestyle change with the other changes in the factors, then just having probiotics is not going to be enough. So other
Mm.
factors like eating wholesome food, eating more of home cooked meals, exercising, sleeping well, all these things are also essential.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
And then comes another category which is known as prebiotics. This is the fiber which is present in your fruits and vegetables. So, like the way we need food, the microbiota also need food. And then once this fiber from the fruits and the vegetable reaches the large intestine, the microbiota feed on it, multiply, and that is where the increase in the good bacteria number. And apart from that, ghee, which we consume in the diet consists of short chain fatty acid, that is the saturated fat. Now, that also helps to increase the load of the microorganisms. So, that is one more
Ah,
reason why we insist that you consume ghee in the diet because of this
right,
particular reason. So,
right.
all these things put together, that is, finally what I'm asking you to do is consume a balanced diet, isn't it? Roti,
Mm.
sabzi,
Yes,
dal, chawal, having a glass of buttermilk,
yes.
making sure you're having two fruits in the day. A
Mm.
very, very easy
Mm.
balanced diet. You don't need to complicate it to be accessible as this.
Mm. Two things, Avanti. I've noticed that you always say buttermilk rather than yogurt or curds. So it's better
Yeah.
to have a buttermilk rather than just a
Yes, yes,
dahi.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. Yes. So this is what I learned from
right.
one of the Ayurvedic practitioners, and I started believing in that. Is because buttermilk you dilute it, and prakriti changes. Every food has got different prakriti. So curd basically it's very strong, right? The number of
Yeah.
microbiota are going to be pretty strong. So it changes the prakriti changes. The prakriti of the food changes from the curd to the buttermilk.
Mm. Because in Ayurvedic terms, the curd is more heat producing, whereas the
Yes.
buttermilk is more cooling, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, going back to gut health and hormones, if you could
Yeah.
elaborate a bit about that, especially women's hormones. We were talking about on the chat, we were talking about PCOD,
PCOS. PCOS.
PCOS.
Yeah. So PCOS also has got so now hormone health also has got a lot of connection with gut health, okay? Directly and indirectly. Now, let me tell you how. Indirectly is like, like it's a vicious cycle, okay? Once your gut health is affected, your hormones get disrupted, meaning there is a change in the levels of, your insulin. You start getting probably insulin resistant. You start putting on weight. Obesity is the first thing that happens probably. When the microbiota is disturbed, obesity might be one thing. Once the obesity starts setting in, your hormone disruption starts happening. Your levels of estrogen and progesterone keep on changing, and this especially happens in the case of PCOS. Now, there are two terms, okay? PCOD is polycystic ovarian disorder, and PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome. So it starts with the disorder, which is only of the reproductive hormones, that is the estrogen and the progesterone. But when it starts advancing to the other hormone system, the other endocrine system, which is like, your testosterone, your cortisol, probably, your insulin sensitivity, or your insulin resistance starts happening, then we call it as a syndrome. So it's not just the disorder of your estrogen and progesterone, but it is something to do more with the other hormones coming into picture as well. Now, why does this
Right.
happen? First of all, there is a dysbiosis in the microbiota, meaning the bad bacteria keep on increasing. They start
Ah,
disrupting your hormone. Okay, they start producing
wow.
certain bad chemicals, like the way we have good chemicals, there'll be certain bad chemicals where it starts increasing the obesity. Increase in the obesity often leads to disruption of the hormones. It's a classic thing. Or even like probably your cycle gets affected, your periods are not coming every month, and it starts getting disrupted. So this is a lot to do with your lifestyle. Okay, it is not just related to the
Mm.
gut dysbiosis happening. So it is not
Mm.
just related to probably the gut health is not good. Why is the gut health not good? You're not eating well, you're not
Mm.
exercising, you're having a sedentary lifestyle, there's too much of stress in your body. Now, coming to stress, okay? chronic stress is something which starts increasing the cortisol, that is the
Mm.
stress hormone in the body. Cortisol starts increasing, and it starts disrupting the other hormone systems in your body. That is the testosterone, where the testosterone starts increasing. Testosterone in women, when it starts increasing, along with the estrogen progesterone being disrupted, you will start seeing a lot of physical signs like hirsutism, facial hair,
Mm.
especially if there is a hormone disruption happening. And then you'll start seeing a lot of insulin resistance, meaning darkening around the neck region. Okay,
Ah.
that is one classic sign of
Oh, those are
insulin
telltale
resistance.
signs. Oh, okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. And can it be corrected? Yes, it can. So, how we correct it? We start correcting the lifestyle. We start improving the gut health. We start introducing
Mm.
exercise, mindful practices, and managing the stress. So, it's when we give a diet, we just don't give a diet. We work on
Mm.
all these lifestyle things together. We have to write it and
Mm.
give. Please meditate for 5 minutes in the morning. And we ensure that you do that. I mean, it's finally for your own good. And once you start making these changes, we have seen a lot of women, start regularizing their period in the second or the third month itself. They've
Wow.
not got the periods for 2 3 months, and then in the second and the third month only they have started regularizing the periods. Now once the periods start regularizing, the symptoms of insulin resistance also start going down. Hirsutism, meaning the existing hair, of course you have to remove cosmetologically, but then new facial hair and all start reducing, because we are working on multiple things together at one time.
Mm. That's so interesting.